10 years after their lavish wedding, Dennis Okari speaks of regret.
Like, this is not meant to be. It's not really meant to be. We did it.
How soon after the wedding?
It was so fast.
Really?
It was so fast. Yeah,
really?
It was so fast. To be honest, I wish I never did it.
10 years ago, in 2015, Betty Kyallo and Dennis Okari got married in a lavish wedding that was highly publicized and for a moment the talk of the town.
I give you my hand, my heart, and my love. From this day forward.
And for KTN's Friday briefing anchor Betty Kyallo, it wasn't anything short of that, as she said, I do.
Now, a few months after the marriage, of course, they drifted apart, and there were a lot of things being said, including allegations that Betty Kyallo had cheated on Dennis Okari with the former governor of Mombasa, Ali Hassan Joho. So now, a decade after the whole circus and everything, Dennis Okari finally spoke about it while speaking to Kathy Kiuna on her YouTube channel. And he expressed how he and Betty Kyallo got to knowing each other and how they even got to marriage and what happened after. So let's dive into it. Before they got into a relationship, Dennis Okari had just landed a gig at KTN. Initially, he was auditioning for a radio job, but thanks to God, he ended up landing a job on screen on KTN. And around the same time, Betty Kyallo had joined KTN as an intern, and she just loved, presenting and reading the news. And whenever Dennis Okari would be reading his bulletin, Betty Kyallo would be right there watching, intrigued, and Dennis Okari noticed this, so he took upon mentoring her and just encouraging her and letting her know that you can also do this. It is in this way that they bonded, became close friends, and even started a relationship. In the process of the relationship, Betty Kyallo became expectant with Dennis Okari's child. It was at this point that Dennis Okari revealed this to his parents and later on decided to wed Betty Kyallo.
But I did it out of a good heart to try and correct a wrong. You see, we have a child out of wedlock. It was always my dream and desire. You do a wedding, then you have a child. That's how it's done normally,
Right.
I'd seen it from my parents as well. So I'm breaking protocol. And here I am, there's a child. So why don't we make this official then?
As we've heard, his reason for the wedding was, one, he hadn't planned for all this to happen in the first place. He wasn't sure things would go this fast. So after realizing that they had a child out of a wedlock and being a person who had been brought up in a family where his parents first got married before having children, he felt he had made a wrong and he wanted to correct that wrong. He figured the best way to go about it was to have the wedding. Speaking about the period after the wedding, Dennis Okari describes that in this moment they just started drifting apart and they started to realize that maybe they were not meant to be. He later on wished that he never did it, like never did the whole wedding thing and getting married to Betty Kyallo.
And so, to cut long story short, it started feeling like, how you start like drifting really apart. Like, this is not meant to be. It's not really meant to be. We did it.
How soon after the wedding?
It was so fast.
Really?
It was so fast. Yeah,
really?
It was so fast. To be honest, I wish I never did it. And so I was pushing my weight around everything, pushing to make it work. And things started happening. And as fate would have it, the drifting and everything, I won't get into too many details.
Yeah.
But it got to a point where it couldn't just last.
He says they realized they were both doing it because they had a child and they realized they just weren't meant to be, and that's how the relationship came to an end. Many people congratulated Dennis Okari in the comments, loving how he didn't necessarily shade Betty Kyallo or air out her dirty laundry. He just spoke about himself and his experience and tried to keep everything respectful. What are your thoughts on this? Do you also feel the same way? Let us know what you think in the comment section, and of course always keep it here on BNN for more updates.